Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading. So try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, a very practical Four of Pentacles. This card is all about safety, security, and stability. I feel that these are sort of essential needs, Sometimes when I look at the Four of Pentacles, I think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And these are those basic things. These are the foundational things we need in life. What is it? Water, shelter, food, right? And anything else on top of that is just gravy, right? So I feel like you're somebody who is focused on these basic needs, wants to have a safe and stable and secure life, so that you can pursue the higher things in life. Those things that really make your soul sing, those things that have the sense of purpose. And it's kind of like you want this foundation, you want this baseline to be not a worry. You don't want to have to spend your time on this because you have other things, bigger things, higher things that you need to focus on, Sometimes this is the card of routine. This is sometimes a card of habit. And when we see a 4, we start looking around for the 5. So I feel like from this point, something needs to change, that there's some energy that needs to start moving around again, okay? It may be that you have been considering a big move in your life, which is risky because, well, you've got this very safe and stable 4 of Pentacles. Why would you change it? It sounds like a risk, right? Sometimes, though, to make the omelet, you got to break a couple eggs, right? So we want these higher things in life. Sometimes we have to get out of the comfort zone a little bit. Well, let's see what's going on. Let's put some context around this card. Let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. Oh, we've got a 4, another 4 of Swords here. So two of these rather routine energies, I guess. There's the 5. Oh, and there's a 9. And a 10. And a 2. Interesting. Change, right? Change. The strength, to manifest your best life. This is the effort. This is the satisfaction from that effort. And we've got the 5 to go with these 4. So I feel like we're getting out of the comfort zone. I feel like we're trying new things. I feel like we're getting a little experimental. Yeah, and it feels really good. We've got Chariot card over here, a 9 of Cups. We've got the Death card and the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords at the end there, I think, really is the important thing, because if there's anything hindering you from leveling up, getting this, this is the pot of gold, right? This is the vessel and the satisfaction that goes with it. And it's through your efforts that you're getting to your best life and this feeling of satisfaction. The 9 of Cups really is the best card of the tarot, right? But if there's anything that's getting in the way of this pot of gold, it's your I want to call it caution almost, It's your sort of conservative sort of energy where it's just like, I don't really want to take the risk. We're trying to calculate if this is going to be a good opportunity or not. And sometimes we think about it for so long that the window closes. Okay. So I feel like there's something in your life right now that you really want to jump on it as quickly as possible, because it has the potential to really bring you intense rewards. Yeah. But we don't want to be impulsive. We don't want to do anything risky. I don't know if it's a good idea. I feel like you're trying to analyze this. We're trying to come to a decision. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here and put Jimbo, the Lizard King, aka Mr. Lizard, right there on top. Now, don't forget, Libra, you are magic. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's do it together as a group exercise. All right. Let's take a look around the room. Two major arcana energies, Chariot and the Death card. Both are cards of movement, right? One is a card of evolution. One is a card of sort of cautious movement, but movement nonetheless. Okay. I think your general energy wants to move forward, but you want to do so in a smart way. I feel that you are trying to, part of your goals in life, I think, are to establish yourself, to put down roots, I think is kind of the idea, right? To carve out a little section of the universe and say, this is mine. You know, this is where I live, this is where I operate, this is my sort of, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm establishing myself as. In some ways, it's the search for the Holy Grail, but in other ways, I feel like the Chariot card sort of represents the search for our identity. You know, who am I really? And why am I here? You know, it's the quest. It's that eternal quest that is only fulfilled by spirit, but by experience. By the Star card, maybe the mystery card will be the Star card. So I feel like you're on this search for who you really are and what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be doing it, who's with you, what are the details, you know. And of course, the Death card is sometimes the energy that we don't want. We don't want to have to let go of what is comfortable and familiar. We don't want to have to let go of what has become safe and stable and secure. These fours, right? We don't want to let go of something that is now, it's part of our routine, it's part of our habit. I'm used to it. I don't want to let go of it, you know. It's comfortable. And sometimes the fours are the towers that we build around ourselves. And the Death card is us sort of stepping out of our old skin into our new being, you know, into our new state of living our lives. This becomes the card we need, right? This position in the Dove and Serpent spread, when we're over here talking about this is the card we don't want. We don't want to let go of stuff. We don't want change. We don't want shedding skin. We don't want to say goodbye to anything. No, I don't want to lose anything. I want to keep everything I got. When we're over here, we realize that we're going to have to let go of some things, particularly let go of this sort of habit of thought, this pattern, right? Because this is some self-sabotage, I'll tell you. Okay? We have fire. We have a little bit of water. We've got a little bit of air, a little bit of, well, quite a bit of earth, actually. So we got a decent balance of cards here. What I think is going on with the Nine of Wands into these fours is that you've struggled. I think when you were younger, you had a lot of trials and tribulations in life. I feel like you had to mature very early. I feel like you had to take care of others in your life when you were young. Like you were like the older sister that had to take care of the younger sisters, or you were like the kid that had to take care of their parents, or something like this, right? That you were sort of responsible for other people. Because I feel that you had to really find your strength quick in life, okay? And a lot of hardships. And I hate to use the word survivor, but sometimes that's the word that comes to mind. I feel like you have proven your strength because you've overcome so much. And so you get into this Four of Pentacles, Four of Swords, and primarily the Four of Pentacles, because this is like, okay, you've made your way to a safe place. This is like you found a shelter. You found the storm shelter. You've built a good foundation for your life. And I think you fought hard for it, and here you are. Great, you know. We don't want to give this up for anything. You know, no way would I jeopardize this foundation that I've built in life. Again, if you're out in a survival situation, you've got your water, your shelter, your food. Why would you ever leave the camp? Well, you're going to find something better. Something that, and it's risky because what if there's nothing else out there, right? You're looking to get, and that's kind of the idea. If you're in that sort of survival situation, do you stay there? You got a steady source of water, you got your shelter, you got your food. Do you just stay there, or do you go on a long journey to look for civilization, instead of waiting for somebody to rescue us, right? Do we leave our safe camp that we've built and, go find other people, go find civilization, go find a boat or a chariot to take us out of here? Or do we just say, this is my home now. This is where I'm going to stay, right? And in this sort of idea, it's like we're building this tower around ourselves, because we stay here and we reinforce this, and we say, this is where I need to stay. I'm not going back out there into the dark, scary forest for anything. I've got my water, shelter, food. That's all I need. Okay. And then the mind, of course, starts to believe, not only is this all I need, but this is all that I'm supposed to need. I shouldn't want anything else. There's nothing else out there. We can think of a lot of reasons not to leave the camp. And in an actual survival situation, I don't know. I don't have those skills. I'm not sure what to do. It depends on the circumstances, I guess, case by case basis. But I do feel that there is this energy stirring up within you, that's making you feel as if there is more out there. And we stay here, and the more comfortable we get, but yet it's just like we're starting to get uncomfortable too. Okay, we're trying to convince ourselves that I don't need anything else. I'm going to stay right here. This is all there is for me. And maybe we're talking about work or school or family or friends or just life in general. But there's this 5 of Wands underneath everything. And this is that instinct of change. This is the instinct that anything that becomes too routine, anything that becomes habitual, is going to eventually need some kind of something. There's some force that needs to break up that monotony. It's the anxiety that we sometimes feel when something is too rhythmic. It's kind of like when I'm trying to fall asleep, I can't have a rhythmic sound. I can't have any kind of a rhythmic energy. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't know. I focus on it too much. What I need is I need white noise. I bet you probably do too because of this. There can't be too much rhythm, because then it feels, I don't know, almost feels like it's something we need to pay attention to, in a weird kind of paradoxical way. So there's this growing feeling of a need to change, a need for something new, a need to break down some of these walls of maybe thought, the 4 of Swords, like what we believe we're meant to do, what we've convinced ourselves to accept, to be comfortable or complacent with. And I think that the self-sabotage is playing into this a little bit with that 8 of Swords, because we do look for ways to sort of keep ourselves here in this safe camp, keep us in this tower. Okay, and it's kind of like, I don't know, that we hide our shoelaces or something, that say, oh, well, I guess I can't get my boots on and go hiking and go explore the woods. I don't have any shoes, just little things like this that just sort of are going to keep us safe. And that's the intellect, that's the ego's way of sort of doing what it thinks is right, keep us safe. So I'm going to hide the car keys, that sort of thing, But the 5 of Wands, I think, is this growing frustration with that routine, as safe and secure and as stable as it is. As human beings, we feel like if we're too predictable, it leaves us open to other predators, So we feel the need to really be alert. And maybe that's why, for me, it's hard to sleep when things are too rhythmic, because that's like, for some reason, instinctually, it prompts me to be more alert, right? I think that's what's going on here. I feel like you're just sort of hyper aware of everything now, and you realize that that this rhythm, this sort of the fours, pentacles and swords, are stagnant. You know, that there is more out there for you. And we have these aspirations up top, the 10 of Pentacles. There is a lot more out there for you, an infinite amount more. The 10 of Pentacles is not just 10. It's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 1,000 pentacles, right? There's no limit. It's not just a 10 and that's it. You know, they only made 10 of the cards because obviously you can't just make 1,000 tarot cards in every pack. It'd be unwieldy. But this is the same as, you know, some cultures that they count, right? They just say 1, 2, and then a whole bunch. Just like we say there's 1, 8, 9, 10, and then a whole bunch, right? It's the scientific notation. It's our way of saying that, you know, there's this many and then there's a infinite number more. I can count, there's 10 fingers and then there's a whole infinite, you know, series of numbers that come after that. It's just our way of making it manageable. So in that sense, I don't feel that there is ever an end to what we can aspire to, what we can achieve, what you can manifest, right? This is your best life. This is the picture of your best life. And it's kind of something that I think is becoming more and more prominent. You're starting to see this in your mind's eye more often. And it's adding to this feeling of frustration, this feeling of hyper vigilance, hyper awareness, you know, that something's not right, something's got to change, something needs to move. So maybe you're getting a little bit of a travel bug. Maybe you're thinking, well, now it's time for me to start looking at a job change, or maybe I got to switch departments, or maybe I need to start sort of doing something different in my life, or pick up a new hobby or a new vocation, or whatever it might be. I'm getting the impression that you might physically be moving somewhere. You kind of have this idea of you're starting to sort of pack things in boxes. And I wonder if over the last few weeks you've been sort of getting things ready, but you don't really know for what. You know, it's kind of like, and that's the 5. That's the 5 of Wands, where you just sort of, you found yourself like preparing things or getting things ready, or like you're just sort of, you're consolidating stuff, you're getting rid of stuff you don't need anymore, you're trying to downsize, streamline, get rid of the garbage, just get stuff organized. Like, you're preparing for something, but it's like, what are you preparing for? You know, it's like instinctually you just find yourself getting ready, being very vigilant, very aware, like you're taking stock of all your stuff. You're really doing the budget. You're starting to do all these financial plans and figures. And I think that under the surface of everything, you're getting ready for a big change in your life, even though consciously you're trying to hide your car keys, you know. And interesting the way our conscious mind and our unconscious sort of play off of each other, and sort of they have this interaction even though most of us aren't really aware of it. And to me it feels like, well, exactly like we see here, a 4 on the surface but a 5 underneath, you know. That we're trying to maybe consciously commit ourselves further to staying here. It's like, I'm going to go sign another 2-year lease, a 10-year lease or whatever. You know, I'm going to somehow sort of reinforce that this is a permanent state. But meanwhile, underneath the surface, your unconscious is like starting to look for other houses somewhere else, or look for a new job. So like you find yourself browsing the classifieds, and, you know, or you're starting to sort of pack up stuff that you haven't used and put labels on things and stuff like that. Because we know, 2 of Pentacles in the future, we know that life thrives on motion, that everything is always in flux, right? What has existed too long in one state is naturally going to change into its opposite state. So we've been in one situation too long. There's that growing need that something's got to give, you know. And I feel like if we don't recognize and honor this feeling in ourselves, we end up doing things that are sort of, you know, counterproductive. You know, if your job situation is stagnating too much, but you're not really consciously doing anything about it, or you're not really admitting that, you know, that you're choosing not to be aware of that, well, that's when you like slowly start making more mistakes at work. and you have like more of a temper with your coworkers, and you just start kind of you start doing things that sabotage yourself, because it's your unconscious trying to make some changes happen. Okay, so it's much better if we recognize that and do so consciously. Maybe it's not the job that needs to change. Maybe it's just kind of the way you do your job, or you can change your hours, or you can maybe take on a different project here or there, or something along those lines, get some further education, whatever it is. But if we do so consciously, then we avoid the disaster that the unconscious might start, right? So the Two of Pentacles in the future is saying, let's make some conscious changes in our life. Now, whatever it might be, and you've got to look at yourself. You got to really sort of envision your future and your best life, and what are some of the things that you aspire to? What things can you do right now to bring a little bit of zest back in your life, a little bit of variety, to satisfy this unconscious urge to change? Because again, if this goes unrecognized by the conscious mind, it's going to wreak havoc on our lives, one way or the other, right? And it could be the idea of a relationship. Your relationship feels like it's just gotten in a routine, in a habit, right? If we don't consciously recognize that and do something to add a little bit of zest to it, do something new, something spontaneous or whatever, then that unconscious force is going to sabotage it, right? So there's some sort of excitement going on, right? So let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything, and well, it helps out the channel. I appreciate that. It's a win-win, So we've got the Chariot. And the Chariot is the cautious way that we could recognize the need for progress, for change, for getting away from the tower, without bringing the whole tower down, without just destroying, without blowing it all up. That we can move forward in a way that is consciously guided and fortified and sort of well thought out, so that we can make these positive changes in our life and not just sort of self-sabotage or not run into disaster, right? Because, a tower moment in this case would be the unconscious sort of bringing something very, very severe, to bear on this routine that we're in. So we do so consciously, and we can sort of control it. We can choose what we're going to do differently to sort of satisfy that urge for that will to chaos or something, But the Nine of Cups in the environment, as well as the Ten of Pentacles, kind of in your conscious awareness, as in your mind's eye, as your sort of highest aspiration. This is really realizing that it is through change that we get closer and closer to our best life. Okay? The Nine of Cups is a function. It's an odd number. This is the way of life. This is the way of life of constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly innovating. Maybe this is a belief kind of thing, the Four of Swords, and it's just saying that, you haven't done much conscious growing lately. Maybe you need to learn a new skill or take up a new hobby or push yourself in some direction, because the joy of life is in the movement. When things get too rhythmic, it's like that highway hypnosis, or it's like, you're in the car and things are too flat and too smooth and too rhythmic. We start to not notice the movement anymore. Even though it's a rhythmic movement, we just get so used to it that we fail to notice it. Okay? So it is through the slowing down or speeding up, or the left and right turns, the bumps in the road, that we really sort of remember that we're living. It makes us feel, that something's going on. So that Five of Wands underneath there, that could be this unconscious desire just to feel alive again, But we don't want to let this operate unconsciously, because that's the self-sabotage. What we want to do is figure out a way that we can sort of invoke this and control it in a way that's going to be productive and add to the meaning, add to the flavor of life, add to our growth, add to our fulfillment in a real way. And in that sense, we've got the evolution of the Death card. To avoid the Tower, we have to accept the Death card. And the Death card is slow but steady change. Okay? It usually happens underneath the surface. It usually happens in a way that's so slow it's imperceptible. Okay? But if we can learn to appreciate the little things, the little ways that we are sort of growing and innovating and learning and doing different things and welcoming change into our life, then we can avoid those really huge, abrupt, unconsciously sort of driven tower moments, of disasters that we get ourselves into. So it's sort of like, the earthquake. You want those little tremors to sort of constantly, you want, like just the little tremors, like the little small earthquakes, so the tension doesn't build up and then it becomes a really massive and destructive earthquake. See? So we embrace change consciously, and in this way that is aimed at a sort of a willed evolution. Okay. And this is sometimes stepping out of our comfort zone. This is sometimes leaving the safety and security of what we've built and going in search for something that's a little bit different, something that's going to challenge us a little bit more. That Five of Wands, we've got to let it out a little bit. And we've got to let it strive for something. We've got to put it into a situation where it has to struggle and has to fight for something. It has to bring the energy of the organism to bear in order to push past the limits of those fours. Okay? Because the fours are meant to be impermanent. If we take the four to be life, that's life, then we're sort of denying the fundamental force of the universe, which is the Death card. And then the Death card will rear its ugly head in the form of a Tower moment, right? The Tower is that exclamation point of life. And I think in this context, we really don't want that. We want to sort of, we want a pressure relief valve rather than those big sort of volcanic eruptions of the Tower card. Okay. So this becomes the card we need. We need this sort of gradual and constant change. We should always be learning, always growing, always striving to improve and deepen the meaning of our lives and strive after this depth of significance and satisfaction. Of course, the Eight of Swords is doubling down on the fours, right? 4 and a 4. And the mind's going to do everything it can to keep us here. The conscious mind, right? And certain aspects of the unconscious too, I guess. So it's a constant battle between the fours and the fives, but it is that battle that makes the 9, right? 5 plus 4, 9. That's what gives us the satisfaction of life, is stepping outside of the box and doing something new. And it doesn't have to be crazy volcanic eruptions, tower moments, right? It can be the little things, and we do that so we don't get those big, scary tower moments, but we're adding to the depth of our lives sort of one little thing at a time. Like, go out and try a different flavor ice cream today than you usually do, Just try little things like that even. Put your head at the other side of the bed tonight, okay? If your head's usually facing west, put your head in the east. Yeah, try it. Try using a different hand to brush your teeth or something like that, right? Try a different flavor. If you're at a restaurant and you're ordering a meal, don't order what you usually get. Try something that you never would have ordered yesterday, just to try it. Right? Let's look at the mystery card. Mystery card. Well, I don't know. I feel like we need some more major arcana. I feel like we have enough. We got enough fire. We got enough water. I guess we could do some more water cards. We don't really need any more air. We don't really need any more earth. I think either water or a major arcana Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. It is water. I was right, but it's a 4. Now we're doubling down even again on the 4s, right? 4, we have our water, shelter, and food now. I feel like it's the mind. It's that part of the ego. It's our defenses, you know. And now with the 4 of Cups, I feel like we're trying to defend the heart and just saying, look, you don't want to go outside the camp. You don't want to go outside here because you could get hurt, right? Because you could go and try to do something. What if you ordered a different flavor of ice cream and it was gross? You know, you'd be sad. What if you ordered something at the restaurant and you didn't like it, and then you spent this money on a meal that you didn't enjoy? Right? So you might as well do what you're used to doing, because at least you know that you sort of like it. You do it so many times, I don't really enjoy it anymore, but it's better than me not enjoying it, right? Or is it the same thing? You know? Am I going to take a risk on a different flavor of ice cream? I may love it. I may really hate it. Or do I just eat the same flavor of ice cream I've always been eating, even though it doesn't really bring me joy anymore? It's just kind of blah. It's not bad, but it's not really good either, right? I guess those are the questions we have to ask ourselves. And of course, that's the 8 of Swords sort of giving us this runaround where maybe the idea is try a different dessert altogether. Maybe you just get away from ice cream for a while, you know? Expand your horizons, expand your tastes. Get to know yourself, grow, evolve, you know. It doesn't have to take you so far out of your comfort zone that things are unrecognizable, but you can sort of ease yourself outside of the box a little bit. And you branch out, explore, you know. You don't have to go too far away from camp, but embrace a little bit of that change, okay? And maybe you'll really start to like it and it'll start to grow on you, right? We're going to do an extended reading too. If you want to stick around, there is a link in the corner. There's one down below. New readings for Libra, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays. I feel like this is something that you needed to hear right now. Okay, so Spirit prompted me to stay in the studio and do an extra reading today. So I hope this resonated with you in some way. All right. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Totally free, doesn't cost anything, yada, yada. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.